Hey, I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Michael, guys.
And today we're going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 3. Now, for those of you that haven't seen it, it is airing on Netflix, or I should say streaming on Netflix. And we just want to go ahead and let you know there's going to be some spoiler alerts in this one. So if you haven't seen it, stop this right now and go ahead and watch Cobra Kai Season 3 on Netflix. And then come back and join us. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification button for any of the future episodes coming up. Cobra Kai Season 3 aired New Year's Day 2021. We are probably, what, 2 days in now? 2 days past New Year's Day?
It's New Year's. It's 2021. Happy New Year, everyone.
And let me just tell you, if you didn't have work, we didn't have work. We decided to take the day off. And we sat in front of the TV and we watched all 10 episodes.
Best way to start your New Year. Cobra Kai.
Oh my gosh. It was, I think we were super excited. It just gave me this tickled feeling because going back into Cobra Kai, Season 1 and Season 2 was really good. I really didn't think I was going to really like it. I was like, oh my gosh, they're drawing out Karate Kid. I like Karate Kid, but really, what could they possibly do with Cobra Kai? Man, was I wrong? Yeah,
Cobra Kai Season 3. They really threw us for a loop for this one. This was really good. So let's get on to this. I enjoyed it. Season 3 was absolutely awesome.
Yes, they had some really nice surprises throughout the season. And it just really brought back a lot of the warm feelings, a lot of the excitements that you got when you originally saw Karate Kid 1 and 2. And so there really isn't a lot of correlation with 3. Karate Kid 3.
There was.
Really?
There were some. Right.
Some?
There was.
I didn't see a lot, but anyways, yeah. So it was nice to be able to see that, and also they really paid a heavy homage to Mr. Miyagi, Pat Morita's character. And although Pat Morita is no longer with us to play that character, it was just nice to be able to have him still be part of the storyline throughout. And so that way, it just made you feel like his spirit was with you throughout the entire time. And so how the story starts is, in fact, that Miguel, the student Miguel, at the end of Season 2, he has a major fight in school, and it causes a severe accident. And so now they roll the story into post-accident. I think it's like 2 weeks post-accident. And he is in a coma. And he most likely has a broken back. And he is having to fight for his life. And of course, the interesting part to me is how they made Johnny this guy who cannot let go of his past. Can you not tell me some people
there are people
in your
like
life?
We all have some people like that.
It's like the forever football player in high school, right?
Uncle
Rico.
The
forever Uncle Rico, or the cheerleader who thought she was just all that in a bag of chips, and now her life is to shit, and she just can't figure out why. She was just so great, right? And she doesn't know why her life has turned out to be shit. So it's one of those things where you just feel for his character. You feel for Johnny. You can't just, you want him to succeed somewhere along the lines. And every single time, something just falls out of his mouth and just reverts him back to a complete idiot.
I think it's funny how they make him like that. I think it just shows the dynamics of these two characters between Johnny Lawrence and Danny LaRusso, right? I think because, in one of the parts in the episode, they talk about when Danny LaRusso actually meets with Miguel. If you guys remember, Miguel is the student of Johnny LaRusso. He was their head student for Cobra Kai, right?
Right.
And so there was that moment where Daniel Russo and was talking to Miguel, and he shared that he was from Reseda, right? And he was a poor kid. Him and his mom.
Didn't have any money.
Didn't have money. Remember, and he would talk about how they just push his car, and he
just to get it to start.
Just to get it to start, right? But then he would tell him that John Russo lived up in the hills. He was a rich kid.
Yes.
And so Miguel had this look in his face like, oh, that completely total opposite when you see how they are now. Because Danny LaRusso is now the successful businessman, owns a dealership.
Yes.
While Johnny Lawrence is,
that
guy, right?
That guy.
He's that guy, right? Who can't let go of that past. He's that Uncle Rico, right? But it was a nice dynamic to see, Danny LaRusso and Miguel sharing a moment where they're starting to understand this, right?
Yes.
So I love I think Cobra Kai, the season was really great because they did pay close attention to Karate Kid 2 and Karate Kid 3.
Yes.
There was a major part in Karate Kid 3 where Danny was in the tournament and he was losing, and that part where he was scared and fearful played a role for his daughter.
That was a lesson for his daughter.
For his daughter, right? Because of the fear factor.
Right.
Yeah, so, Samantha was afraid of Tori because of what Tori did to her at the end of season 2. She had those spiky brass knuckles, so it really messed with Samantha. Right? And so it was a good way for Samantha to learn about fear and how to accept fear, right? That lesson that Danny took her in from Karate Kid 3.
Right. Yeah, I completely saw it. I also like the way that they nearly the city or the community vilified. They vilified the idea that karate is in fact harmful. Like it's they thought they made it sound like there was this karate gang now, and they are wreaking destruction and bad behavior in school. And so with that, the story of season 3, it kind of ties into the fact that they were trying to completely cut off karate from all the youth, the community, and and then it also ties into how the community reacted to LaRusso's business. It affected his business tremendously to the point where they had no customers, no sales, and they were seeing a massive decline. And so with that, of course, you're going to have a rivaling company come in and try to somehow completely pay you off in order, knowing that you're knocked down on your knees. Or even doing the most scoundrel thing of going behind your back to somehow take your money and the relationships that you've built in order for you to have that thriving business. So I thought that was really I guess as an adult, to me, that's like a huge lesson. It's not so much as the students in the movie or in the show learning lessons. It was so much as like just the adults, and as a parent, and how we have to face different challenges, not only in our children, in having to deal with being in school and being challenged with either bullies or people who want to do harm to your kids. And I thought that was a really interesting lesson.
Another good interesting lesson that they had was the introduction back to where he had to go back to Japan. And the reason why he had to go back to Japan is because his business was losing a major dealership that was sponsoring him or providing him vehicles, right? And so with that, he was losing this contract. He actually had to fly to Japan and meet with the executives for the company that was helping him or that he was working with. Unfortunately, they closed the deal. They decided to move away from him because of what was going on with the dilemma with the students, the karate fighting that was going in school, how it put a bad influence in the neighborhood and the community. So the company itself in Japan decided to move away from Dan LaRusso and his business. So that story was interesting to see, like, what outcome is he going to do now? He's in Japan. But sure enough, he finds himself going back to Okinawa, right, the home of Mr. Miyagi, And, he goes there and visits and sees the changes that happened from when he remembers it to being a simple village to now a modernized town, to a modernized city, right? They were very updated. We saw the kind of restaurants they had in there. So I think it was great for him to see, like, wow, it's been this long since I've been back here.
Right.
And the history has completely changed.
Nothing stays the same. There's always the improvements.
Yeah.
The improvements.
Yeah.
Even though he was mentally and emotionally stuck on that town, he didn't realize that the villagers needed the upgrade. They
change.
needed that.
Yeah.
And that they themselves were thriving in their own way because of those changes.
Yeah. And it was great for him. And then that's where it led to him meeting back to his past with people from Karate Kid 2.
Yeah.
Right? So Kamiko, he bumped into Kamiko,
Yeah.
seeing what she was doing in the village. And she was still teaching dance, but she showed that she's been traveling around the world teaching all sorts of dance.
Yeah. And she fulfilled her dream of being a dance teacher or
dance
dancing
instructor. Yeah, so she got to travel all the world. I love the story where her favorite place was. She was in London.
Oh my gosh, because she got to see the Cranberries.
The Cranberries are all
open for Radiohead.
Yeah, in 1995. So she said that was her favorite moment about that. So that was a good homage to that, of that era as well. But then the interesting part is that here it is. The surprise visit also from that is while Danny's having conversation and sharing a drink with Kamiko, Chosen shows up.
Yes.
And Chosen's there buying him a drink,
That was quite interesting.
Kamiko was telling him, like, hey, to Danny, I invited him over, and he's wondering, like, this guy almost tried to kill both of us. And she said, that's 30 years ago. Things have changed. And to see the dynamic between Chosen and Danny speaking, and I love the training, the fighting, because it made us show that Danny was really so involved with Mr. Miyagi, but not understanding that Mr. Miyagi came from Japan first, from Okinawa, and saying that he's been teaching others, right? Or he learned it from his father, and his father passed down the Miyagi training to other schools before.
Him and Sato.
Him and Sato, right? His cousin, or friend, his best friend.
His friend.
Right? And so Chosen, being Sato's student, right, the nephew, who learned from Miyagi's father, so it's Miyagi-Do, was interesting to show him, like, you don't know all of Miyagi's martial arts, all the other tricks. So I love the hidden things that Chosen showed Danny about other secret tricks that Miyagi didn't show him. And to see Danny's face, shocked, like, what? I never learned this before, right? But to see they're sharing that moment that these two guys had a hatred for each other 30 years ago in Karate Kid 2, to see them now as an adult. And
I believe the strong lesson here was that you've got to let go of the rivalry, and that the past is the past, no matter how hurtful and complicated the situation ended up being. But the fact that they are now in the future, and that time heals, and that there is also room for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And so with him having this moment with Chosen, it was a way for him to realize that as Mr. Miyagi is technically speaking to Daniel in Okinawa, is that he's letting him know that it's okay that things have happened, but it's a matter of how you deal with it in the future. In the present moment, it's as Kumiko mentioned, is that her aunt basically said you have to throw the good out in order to receive something good to come back to you.
Yeah.
And so that was a great lesson for him to go back, because by the end of his trip, he has this wonderful surprise that basically got his foot in to seal the deal for his business. And I think that was a giant lesson for him so he takes that back, and then, back home. And it's just interesting that, again, Johnny can't let go of the past. He can't let go of his former glory days. And he's not sure exactly, and how is it? He hasn't really evolved to the present day, more or less, because he chooses to, I don't know, bury himself, right, in his own grief and sorrows.
But what changed later on in the episodes and the season, what changed that is because finally someone gets back to him, right? He sends a Facebook message, gets back to him, right? So if you guys remember in season 2, he tried to Facebook message Allie, or did a friend request with Allie, Elizabeth Shue, and sure enough, later on, Elizabeth Shue, Allie, returns the message, says, hey, let's get together, right? And so as he's progressing, he's trying to find the courage to message her, right? But he's ashamed of himself because of what he's going through. He sees Allie as his perfect being because of what she's been able to accomplish, and he's looking at himself like, I haven't done much. So he slowly finds the courage to do so. He gets help from Miguel, actually, because he's been helping Miguel out. So Miguel helps him out again, like Miguel always does. And so it was great that when they finally get together, Allie and Johnny get together, and they have a moment, you really find out that, Allie's there to tell him that life's different and life changes, right? No matter how good it looks, it's not always going to be perfect.
Right.
Right? And even how she looks perfect, in a sense, to his eyes, she explains to him she's not, because she's going through her difficulties as well, right? So I like this part, and Elizabeth, she looks phenomenal. She still looks great at her age.
Of course,
she looks
had
great.
A crush on her. You still do.
Who did it? Right, the Karate Kid. Everyone had a crush on her, and in Kamiko, everyone had a crush on those two girls back in Karate. But the point being is that she definitely showed Johnny like, hey,
I'm right here.
She showed Johnny like, yes, you are. But she showed Johnny like, hey, it's okay, right? She's giving Johnny this idea of like, hey, it's time to let go, amend things. And what was great is because they went to a party event, right? And who happened to be in that party? Danny LaRusso. So the tides would turn now, where Johnny LaRusso is the bottom kind of feeder, and Danny's the uprising kind of guy.
I like the way Danny's wife became the truth sayer in that time that they spent together.
She finds ways to bond Danny and Johnny.
She was able to let Allie know exactly
what's been going on.
So that way, when Johnny was telling Allie some stories, and maybe when Danny was telling Allie some stories, they have their own version, but their true version, of course, is said by the wife, because she knows.
Right.
Because I know.
Yeah. Strange.
The truth.
Right. But it was great to see that. So I love that at the end of that, right? Danny leads off with his wife, Amanda, and Johnny's left with Allie. And Allie's giving him this idea or this notion, saying it's okay now. It's time to move on.
Right.
Let things go. We'll be here to help you out.
Yeah.
You're not alone anymore, right? And so I thought it was a great way to introduce her back into the fold. I don't know where this is going to lead to for Allie, because what she's going through now. Is she going to stick around? But Johnny building a relationship with Miguel's mom. Hello, hey, holla.
Is it Carmen?
Yeah.
Carmen.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting twist too, to see how that works out, right? His student, he's looking to date his mom, or they spend a moment together. They had their relations, so
right.
So it's going to be interesting. So season 4, we don't know when that's going to come out, what the next steps are, but we know that there's a big rivalry now, because one of the plot twists was that they were trying to close out the All Valley Karate tournament under 18, but Miguel and Samantha found a way to speak to the board of the community and get them to reopen the tournament.
Yeah.
But now the twist is that Cobra Kai is being run by Reese, who still has Kreese, who has his Cobra Kai students, and he's recruiting new students. But at the end of it, we see Danny LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence team up together to start training together at Miyagi-Do. We don't know what they're going to call the school, though. But
Miyagi-Fang.
I'm going to get one of those shirts. I definitely want to get one.
Eagle Fang.
Eagle Fang shirts.
Eagle Fang.
I'm definitely going to get one of those shirts. I want to find it, definitely, and definitely going to wear that. But I think it's going to be cool when season 4 comes out to see where it goes, because they have to do this tournament. We're going to see what happens. And the twist now for that is that Johnny's son is no longer with Miyagi-Do.
Is it Robbie?
Robbie is now going to train with Kreese.
To train with Kreese.
At Cobra Kai. So
talk
that's
about
interesting.
Yeah, talk about a really bad stick, or you know, what was the saying? A really bad jab in the gut for Johnny, and for Daniel, because
both of them.
He's developed a love for Robbie, and so now to see him completely disown both men.
Yeah, Robbie disowned both of them. He's told them that he doesn't want anything to do with those two, with Danny or Johnny. So I think that's going to be a very interesting twist that he's following Kreese's side.
Now, with how season 3 ended, what are some of your predictions for season 4? Do you see any mystery guests potentially showing up?
I think there might be some more potential guests who might show up. So what I'm thinking for season 4 is I'm thinking, and I would like to see it interesting, because he did mention Karate Kid 3, the fear he had, which was Mike Barnes, who was the guy he fought in the tournament, and Reese's training partner, buddy partner, which was Terry Silver, right? They were military friends. I thought they were going to show a little bit about that, but I think it'll be interesting. They pull them back in to the fold about this. But another thing I think might be interesting is that they pull in another Karate Kid, the next Karate Kid, which is Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, yeah.
Yeah, her character right there.
Julie Pierce.
Now she had a connection to Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Right, because of her father and Mr. Miyagi and their
military
history. So she actually was training it in a while. So she actually knows Miyagi-Do as well. So that will be interesting to see if they bring her to the fold and add her to Cobra Kai and how that is, because she is a Miyagi person, Miyagi-Do person, right? So even though Chosen and Kimiko wasn't part of the Cobra Kai, so to speak, fighting, they were still part of the Miyagi segment, right? So that ties into it. So I think that'll be a good, interesting twist that they added to season 4 and how that carries on.
Oh, very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how they can really take this storyline and make it work.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So far, I was really blown away with Karate Kid. I wasn't too sure about it. I was just hesitant about it.
Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, excuse me, yeah. But, because I was very intrigued by it. I was blown away by it. So if you guys haven't seen Cobra Kai, definitely guys got to get on it. It's now on Netflix. You can stream all of it. So.
All 10 episodes.
Really great stuff.
Binge watch it. It's actually, it's like once you watch one, you just want to keep watching the next and the next after.
That's true. Make a Saturday date or make a date night of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever shows you guys are into, let us know. We want to view those shows and share our thoughts on it as well.
Yep.
We definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts about what you guys thought about Cobra Kai. Leave us your comments below. Let us know what you guys think. If there's anything we missed, let us know so everyone else can be a part of that.
Love to hear from you guys. With that said, we'll talk to you next time.
See you guys.